Las Vegas, America's entertainment capital, where millions of tourists come to lose themselves in the glittering lights of luxurious casinos. But behind all that glitz, thousands are struggling to survive in the shadows of poverty and despair.
Many people are living in poverty or are homeless and struggling to survive the very harsh and dangerous streets of the city.
A lot of people move here thinking they're going to become rich, and they end up losing it all and stuck on the streets.
As night falls, this city is not only a playground for the fortunate, but also a gamble for thousands of homeless people. The famous streets, once symbols of wealth and joy, have now become a place of survival for lost souls. Just a few blocks away from expensive resorts and glamorous events are areas overflowing with tents, trash, and unseen suffering. In today's video, we'll take you to the heart of the nightmare to explore the dark side of Las Vegas as dreams fade and the collapse of a city once considered paradise. Can you believe it? In Las Vegas, the city of glittering lights, luxury hotels, and world-famous casinos that draw millions of tourists every year, there's a harsh reality exists that few are aware of: the growing crisis of homelessness. Along familiar streets, through dark alleys and empty lots, makeshift encampments known as Tent City are springing up like mushrooms after the rain. These tents are a stark symbol of the deep divide between the city's shining dream of prosperity and the painful truth that so many of its residents now face.
The flip side of Las Vegas is clear for all to see, having one of the biggest homeless issues in the USA, which continues to grow at an alarming rate.
Over 6,500 homeless people are living on the streets of Las Vegas. An alarming figure, because in a city known for its wealth and as a destination for 40 million visitors each year, this situation cannot be normal. For many, the so-called American dream is no longer a reality, as they are evicted from their homes, lose their jobs, or fall into difficult circumstances due to personal issues such as illness or inadvertently getting involved in vices. They are not lazy people, but individuals who once had stable lives, now reduced to makeshift tents under bridges, outside the bright lights emanating from dazzling casinos.
The worst thing in the world is being homeless. You're never safe, not for one moment. And consider everything you have gone, stolen.
Life in these makeshift camps is a struggle for survival. Food shortages, lack of safe shelter, lost documents, and the absence of necessary social support are the daily difficulties they face. Some people even had to seek refuge in the city's underground tunnels, where they faced extreme dangers, floods, theft of their belongings, and in the worst cases, being completely swept away. These images are not part of the dream Las Vegas once promised, but rather signs of failure to protect the vulnerable. It's truly ironic and contradictory that in a city renowned for its wealth and casinos, the majority of the poor and homeless live in neglected areas where there is insufficient support from the government or organizations. These poor streets cannot create opportunities for those who need them most. And as the American dream seems distant, a generation of people are unable to own homes and are left in poverty, perpetuating this cycle of homelessness. Can we change this? And will future generations still have the opportunity to find a true American dream? Or are we witnessing the collapse of a system that cannot solve society's fundamental problems? Tropicana Avenue, one of Las Vegas's most famous boulevards, is no longer just a road leading to dazzling casinos or opulent hotels. Now, it has become a symbol of the contrast between light and darkness, between the American dream and harsh reality. A city that was once a symbol of prosperity and freedom now faces a reality where even the brightest lights cannot dispel the darkness that is gradually engulfing thousands of lives with nowhere to go. contrary to the image of prosperity that tourists still find on the Las Vegas Strip. In the hidden corners of this avenue, a serious problem is quietly growing illegal activities in the nightlife industry, according to data from the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. Incidents related to these activities in the Spring Valley area have skyrocketed by 230% in the past year alone, a figure that cannot be ignored. A resident living near Tropicana Avenue and Valley View shared that she sees these scenes every single day. Street corners that were once busy with tourists are now filled with people just waiting, faded figures and eyes that seem to hold stories never told. They are the poor selling dreams to the rich, hoping to find a sliver of hope in a city that profits off those chasing luck. Many stand on street corners like permanent fixtures of the city, ever present, yet unseen, as if they've melted into the very air around them. Meanwhile, Las Vegas police are struggling to cope with this situation. Arrest campaigns are constantly being implemented. But these figures only partially reflect the efforts of law enforcement in investigating, and are not entirely indicative of a sharp increase in criminal behavior.
We see it pretty much every day, but I don't know that it's up that much.
This situation goes beyond just those involved in illegal activities. It highlights a deeper, more disturbing truth. Vulnerable workers are being exploited and forced into unsafe, unjust conditions. It's a deeply rooted problem, leaving many local residents feeling uneasy and unsafe. While law enforcement is making efforts to target those behind the exploitation and bring them to justice, the challenges remain immense. In the end, are these struggling workers simply being used as pawns in a system where they were never meant to succeed? Over 70% of the victims of this situation say they did not choose this path voluntarily. They are just people who have to survive in a harsh world, with no choice but to accept their suffering, and despite aid campaigns, such as providing shelter, food, and clothing for the abandoned, this issue has not been completely resolved. Tropicana Avenue is now not only the boundary between wealth and poverty, but also a stark illustration of the divide between the values America once prided itself on and the harsh reality many of its citizens face daily. How can a city that was once a symbol of the American dream now become a hotspot for social issues? Have we forgotten something important? Something that made this city a symbol of prosperity? The danger isn't just on the streets, it's infiltrated deep inside the casinos, where the lights can't hide the cracks that are slowly rotting the entertainment capital of the United States. Las Vegas, where the glittering lights and echoing sounds of slot machines are symbols of prosperity and financial freedom, is also a place where the darkness of crime never truly fades. Although this city has become an entertainment paradise with tens of millions of visitors each year, beneath the glitz and glamour lie stories of sophisticated fraud, where criminal groups are constantly seeking to deceive and steal from the very casinos that are famous. The scam operations in Las Vegas aren't the work of random individuals, they're run by people using highly sophisticated methods. Tactics range from pass posting, placing bets after outcomes, are known to tightly coordinated groups that manipulate betting systems. One well-known scheme involves so-called cheating teams, where members work together to rig games or even interfere with video poker machines to trigger payouts without meeting the required conditions. Each incident, whether minor or elaborate, opens dangerous gaps in the system that are often difficult to detect. These complex operations aren't limited to outside players. In some cases, they involve insiders, employees who understand casino procedures and security protocols inside out. Some have used handbags to block surveillance cameras while switching cards in blackjack, or to alter the deck after shuffling. These tactics are not just bold, they put both the financial integrity and the reputation of casinos at serious risk. However, criminals are not always able to escape the scrutiny of law enforcement agencies. Las Vegas has implemented a super advanced surveillance system with 360-degree cameras and choke points, narrow areas with dense camera coverage to monitor all activity in real time. These systems are designed to detect and track fraudulent behavior immediately, before and after the event occurs. Every action is recorded, and fraudulent schemes are becoming increasingly difficult to break. But with increasingly advanced surveillance technologies, fraud groups cannot easily hide their tracks. Fraudulent groups are not always caught immediately, although many cases have been discovered and criminals arrested. Casinos are not always able to prevent them in time. Casino management and security must work closely with investigative agencies to track down and apprehend criminals. This sends a strong message that cheating will not be tolerated and that Las Vegas will not allow these behaviors to tarnish its image. Nevertheless, each time a major fraud is exposed, one can't help but wonder if even in a city like Las Vegas, with its powerful surveillance and security systems, criminals can still cheat and steal millions of dollars. Is society out there still safe and trustworthy as Las Vegas, truly the paradise it's often portrayed as? Or is it merely a mirror reflecting fragmentation, where con artists can still operate outside the law? Beneath the dazzling lights of Las Vegas, amidst the glamorous stories of winners, a completely different world exists. A world few know about the residents who live in the city's underground tunnels. They are not travelers from all over the world, but people who once had dreams and hoped for a better future, who now face life in the shadows, amidst cold concrete walls and unimaginable deprivation. Those who live underground, in these tunnels and dark areas, chose this shelter not because they wanted to, but because they had no other choice. Homelessness in Las Vegas is on the rise, and for some, finding shelter in tunnels, where they are less likely to be detected, is the only option to avoid being chased away by police and security forces. This is a place where light cannot reach, where people like them are no longer recognized by society, no longer part of the American dream they once hoped for. There are people who have worked their entire lives, living in small apartments next to the Las Vegas Strip, who once worked for wages in restaurants, casinos, and hotels, symbols of prosperity and opportunity. But now, they live among the shadows of tunnels, in hidden corners where no one goes. They not only face material deprivation, but also loneliness and neglect. As night fell, they crawled into the nooks and crannies beneath the earth, avoiding the light and the harshness of the world above. A former construction worker, now living in an underground bunker, shared, "It's not that we want to live like this, but if we go outside, we'll be kicked out. Only in these tunnels can we survive. It's not home, but at least it can keep me alive for another day." With each person like that, Las Vegas is no longer the city of opportunity. They couldn't participate in the American dream that others were pursuing. They are people who have been pushed aside, silent in the shadows, not part of the life the whole city is experiencing, a city teeming with people living lavish lives. Yet there are others who must live in obscurity. Affordable housing policies are insufficient to support the homeless, while soaring house prices make stable housing unattainable for many. The government may promote poverty reduction, but these numbers and policies cannot address the problems of those living underground, with no opportunity to find stable employment or access essential social services. When the last light fades at night, these people quietly return to their underworld. They are mole people, those who live in the shadows, where the American dream seems to have died. No one sees them, no one hears them, but they still exist, every day, surviving in a city that has forgotten them. Can their dreams be revived? Can this society look back and give them a new chance? Or will we continue to glance over and forget the people living in the shadows, under the bright lights of Las Vegas? In the brightly lit streets of Las Vegas, areas that seem perpetually bustling with life conceal a harsh reality that only those who live there truly understand. These are no-go zones, areas where even the law must retreat. How can one imagine that a city renowned for its wealth and entertainment has places where the police dare not enter, where social rules barely exist? The streets of Las Vegas at night are not just the lights from the casinos, but also the shadows where anything can happen. Areas like Spring Valley or East Las Vegas, although not city centers, have alarmingly high crime rates and poor security conditions. In each such area, the people living there become victims of the absence of law and the failure of the community protection system. Families who once had stable lives now live in fear and uncertainty, not knowing when their safety will be compromised. They have to protect themselves in areas that the government has abandoned. A single mother living in this area shared, "We don't feel safe. The law has long retreated from this area. The lack of affordable housing and ineffective support policies are partly responsible for the formation of these areas." Although Las Vegas boasts luxurious resorts and casinos, it lacks the community support programs necessary for the poor and vulnerable. Those left behind in no-go zones face loneliness and despair, while the rest of the city continues to develop at a breakneck pace. Can the law regain control? Have these areas become too detached from society and government? Or is this a sign of a system that is increasingly fractured? The people living in these areas are not criminals. They are abandoned human beings, victims of increasing social division. And when the police are no longer the sole protectors, who will step up to help them? In the heart of Las Vegas, where every casino light shines like a brilliant hope, there are ancient cacti growing in the shadows, like indelible traces of time and neglect. These cacti, though they appear strong and resilient, are slowly withering under the light of a society that has forgotten those who were once its foundation. They are symbols of the generations who once contributed to the development of Las Vegas, but now must endure the erosion of time and the relentless changes of society. We can't help but think of the elderly living in poor neighborhoods, where the American dream has slowly become a distant memory. These people, who were once hard-working laborers, construction workers, teachers, doctors, and workers in other professions, now face a world that no longer has a place for them. They can no longer afford to own a home. They can no longer maintain stable employment. And now they live in forgotten neighborhoods where their presence is no longer recognized by society. Like ancient cacti, they still stand firm against time, but their barrenness and withering are not natural. It is a consequence of the lack of opportunities and support from the community and government, forcing them to endure a life that no one wants to see. In the darkness of Las Vegas, those ancient cacti still stand, but they are no longer symbols of prosperity and hope. Instead, they are images that remind us of a bygone past, of values lost in a city that is constantly changing. Each cactus, each elderly, homeless person, is a monument to injustice, those who were once an integral part of the community, but are now just silent shadows in the darkness. With each withered cactus, the question becomes clearer. Does this society still retain a shred of empathy and fairness, or are we left with only a city of dazzling lights, where the vulnerable are still left behind when old cacti can't revive themselves? Can we help them find light in the darkness? The ancient cacti on the streets of Las Vegas are not anonymous figures. They are the direct result of a political and social system that is gradually losing its humanity in its decisions. Inadequate housing policies, a lack of opportunities for the poor, and weak social safety nets have led to the situation this city is facing today. The poor, the homeless, especially the elderly, are now suffering the consequences of policies that were not strong enough to protect them. Las Vegas, a city with a glamorous image and prosperity, is facing a contrasting reality. Although urban development policies focus on creating space for tourism and entertainment industries, they lack affordable housing development programs and community support for vulnerable populations. While casinos and luxury hotels are constantly springing up, housing prices have skyrocketed, making it impossible for many people to maintain a stable life. A city once known for the American dream is now a place where that dream has become distant for thousands. Charities like the Las Vegas Rescue Mission and US Vets have tried to work with the homeless, providing temporary shelter and jobs. But these organizations can only support a small fraction of the overall problem. The legal and housing policy system fails to address the root causes of this situation: resource scarcity and the growing gap between rich and poor. While the city continues to develop luxurious areas, the majority of working class and homeless people are left on the margins. So, has this system lost its humanistic essence? Can we rebuild a fairer society where all citizens, rich or poor, can find a solid footing? Las Vegas, a city known as an entertainment paradise and the American dream, is facing an uncertain future. Beneath the glamorous facade of casinos, luxury hotels, and glittering lights lies a dark reality that few are aware of. The dark streets, where the homeless live and crime thrives, are a clear sign of a society that is fracturing, from the dazzling areas of the Las Vegas Strip to the city's hidden corners. This issue is worsening, pushing the city to the brink of fragmentation and chaos. What's more concerning is that this situation isn't just the result of a housing shortage or lack of job opportunities. It is a consequence of the deep stratification between social classes, where the wealthy continue to thrive while the poor and vulnerable are left behind. Las Vegas is no longer just a city for fun. It's becoming a place that reflects the wealth gap in American society. Luxurious areas with casinos and expensive hotels exist alongside impoverished areas where life is nothing but a struggle for survival. Police and security forces, despite their best efforts to protect the city, could only do a small part in addressing this situation. Homelessness sweeps, despite being continuously implemented, do not yield long-term results. Each time the temporary camps are dismantled, the homeless continue to move to other areas, creating a vicious cycle with no escape. Meanwhile, luxury areas and expensive neighborhoods continue to thrive, despite the hardships happening right next door. With its rapid pace of change and unresolved issues, the future of Las Vegas seems uncertain. Can this city return to its prosperous days when it was once a symbol of the American dream? Or will it continue to sink into polarization and poverty? Where the vulnerable no longer have a chance to rise, Las Vegas needs a strong change, not only from the government, but also from society as a whole. We must ask ourselves, can we continue to live with this division? Or will we find a solution to salvage the fundamental values that make up this city? Las Vegas, once a symbol of the American dream, is now facing the darkness it created. The dark streets, homeless areas, and people quietly struggling with life raise a difficult question. Does the American dream still exist for everyone? Or is it only for a lucky segment of society? If we don't act now, will the next generation live in an increasingly divided and unjust society? And can we stand by while this darkness engulfs the city we love? We would love to hear your opinion. What do you think about homelessness and social stratification in Las Vegas? Please share your story or thoughts on this issue in the comments section below. Don't forget to like and share this video to spread this important message to others. And subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos. This video was created to provide an authentic and insightful look at homelessness in Las Vegas, reflecting the ongoing social and economic issues. All information and data in the video are taken from public sources and real-world observations, with the aim of sparking reflection and a deeper understanding of the challenges this city is facing. The content is not intended to criticize any individual, organization, or government, but rather to open a broad and responsible dialogue on how we perceive and address existing problems in society. We respect all viewers' perspectives and understandings, and encourage a thoughtful and thorough approach to the issues discussed. This video doesn't offer any final conclusions. It's simply intended to create space for reflection and responsible action within the community. We encourage you to share your perspectives, empathize, and seek solutions to these challenges to build a more just society together.